My name is Sylvia. The discussion is Unlocking Your True Identity. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome. Today we gather not merely to listen, not merely to be inspired, but to confront something deeper, something more powerful than success, louder than fear, and stronger than circumstance. We are here to talk about unlocking your true identity. Not the identity given to you by society. Not the identity shaped by family expectations. Not the identity limited by past failures. But the identity that existed within you before doubt ever introduced itself. Because the greatest tragedy in life is not failure. The greatest tragedy is living and never discovering who you truly are. The illusion of identity. From the moment we are born, labels begin to attach themselves to us. Smart, average, talented, difficult, leader, follower. Over time, these labels start feeling like facts. But they are not facts. They are interpretations. Reality concept. Identity is not discovered accidentally. It is constructed consciously. If you do not define yourself, the world will define you. And the world does not always define you accurately. You are not your past mistakes. You are your present decisions. Many people walk through life wearing identities that were formed in moments of weakness. A failure in school becomes, I'm not intelligent. A broken relationship becomes, I'm not worthy. A missed opportunity becomes, I'm unlucky. But those are events, not definitions. Your true identity is not what happened to you. It is what you decide to become because of what happened to you. The prison of comfort. One of the most dangerous places in the world is comfort. Comfort feels safe. It feels stable. It feels predictable. But comfort can also be a cage. Reality concept. Growth and comfort do not coexist for long. You cannot unlock a new identity while clinging to an old routine. Comfort whispers, stay the same. Purpose whispers, become more. Every breakthrough requires discomfort. Every transformation demands uncertainty. The caterpillar must surrender its old form before it becomes a butterfly. And during that transformation, it does not look beautiful. It looks uncertain. It looks vulnerable. But vulnerability is not weakness. It is the birthplace of reinvention. The battle within. Your greatest battle is not with competition. It is not with critics. It is not with limited resources. Your greatest battle is with yourself. Reality concept. The mind seeks safety. The soul seeks expansion. Inside you, two voices are constantly speaking. One says, you can't. You're not ready. You'll fail. The other says, try. Grow. The voice you feed becomes the identity you live. You must understand something profound. Fear does not mean stop. Fear means step into growth. Fear appears whenever you approach the edge of your current identity. It is a sign you are close to expansion. The mirror of responsibility. If you truly want to unlock your identity, you must take responsibility. Not blame. Not shame. Responsibility. Reality concept. Responsibility is the ability to respond consciously. Blame keeps you stuck in yesterday. Responsibility builds tomorrow. When you say, this is my life, something shifts. When you say, my future is my responsibility, something awakens. The moment you take ownership is the moment you take power. Power does not come from control over others. Power comes from control over yourself. Your habits, your reactions, your mindset. Your identity is shaped daily by what you repeatedly do. Habits, the architects of identity. You do not become confident by wishing for confidence. You become confident by acting courageously. Reality concept. Repeated behavior becomes personality. If you repeatedly wake up early and pursue your goals, you become disciplined. If you repeatedly avoid challenges, you become hesitant. Identity is not a declaration. It is a pattern. Small disciplined actions build powerful identities. Every day you are casting votes for the person you are becoming. When you read instead of scrolling mindlessly, you vote for growth. When you exercise instead of quitting, you vote for strength. When you speak truth instead of hiding, you vote for authenticity. And one day, those votes accumulate, and you wake up transformed, breaking the chains of comparison. Comparison is a silent destroyer of identity. When you compare constantly, you abandon your uniqueness. Reality concept: you cannot become your true self while trying to become someone else. Your path is different. Your timing is different. Your strengths are different. Comparison steals clarity. Self-awareness restores it. When you look at others and feel behind, remember this: you are not behind. You are on your path. An oak tree and a rose grow at different speeds, but both fulfill their purpose fully. Your identity is not measured by someone else's timeline. Embracing failure as revelation. Many people fear failure because they think it defines them, but failure is not a definition. It is information. Reality concept: failure reveals direction, not destiny. When you fail, you learn. When you learn, you adjust. When you adjust, you grow. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. Every setback carries a lesson about who you are becoming. Failure reveals resilience. Failure reveals courage. Failure reveals hunger. Without failure, you never meet the stronger version of yourself. Silence and self-discovery. In a noisy world, silence is revolutionary. We are constantly distracted by social media, news, opinions, expectations. But your true identity does not shout. It whispers. Reality concept: self-awareness requires stillness. When you sit in silence, you hear your real desires. Not what impresses others. Not what pleases society. But what fulfills your soul. Clarity is born in quiet moments. Ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? What do I value beyond applause? What matters to me beyond validation? The answers may surprise you, and they may demand change. The courage to evolve. Sometimes unlocking your identity requires letting go. Letting go of toxic environments. Letting go of limiting beliefs. Letting go of outdated versions of yourself. Reality concept: growth requires release. You cannot step into your future while clinging to your past. Reinvention is not betrayal. It is maturity. People may resist your growth. They may say, "You've changed." And you must respond internally. Yes, I have. Because evolution is the goal. Stagnation is the danger. The power of vision. If you do not have a vision for who you want to become, you will default to who you have always been. Reality concept: direction determines destiny. Visualize your highest self. How do they speak? How do they handle conflict? How do they respond to pressure? How do they treat others? Become the person your future requires. Identity is shaped by imagination followed by action. When you see yourself as capable, you act capable. When you see yourself as powerful, you move powerfully. The mind cannot distinguish vividly imagined success from lived experience. Train your mind, then train your behavior. Integrity, the core of identity. At the center of your true identity is integrity. Integrity means alignment. Alignment between thoughts and actions. Alignment between values and decisions. Alignment between promises and behavior. Reality concept: internal alignment produces external confidence. When you lie to yourself, you weaken your identity. When you break promises to yourself, you erode self-trust. Self-trust is the foundation of self-worth. Keep small promises. Wake up when you say you will. Work when you say you will. Rest when you say you will. Each fulfilled promise strengthens identity. Pain as a catalyst. Pain is inevitable, but pain can either break you or build you. Reality concept: meaning transforms suffering into strength. When you assign meaning to pain, it becomes fuel. Your wounds can become wisdom. Every hardship you've endured has shaped you, not to make you bitter, but to make you deeper. Not to make you fearful, but to make you stronger. Your struggles are not signs that you are losing. They are evidence that you are being forged. The discipline of persistence. Many people start strong. Few persist. Reality concept: identity is built through consistency, not intensity. Motivation fades. Emotion fluctuates. But discipline remains. Discipline bridges the gap between who you are and who you want to be. On days you feel inspired, act. On days you feel tired, act anyway. On days you doubt yourself, act especially then. Because action rewrites identity. Every persistent step says, I am not a quitter. And eventually, that becomes truth. Serving beyond yourself. True identity is not self-centered. It expands beyond personal gain. Reality concept. Fulfillment grows when contribution increases. When you serve others, you discover strengths you didn't know you had. Purpose multiplies power. You are not here only to consume life. You are here to contribute to it. Your gifts, whatever they are, were not given to you to hide. They were given to you to impact. When you align identity with service, you become unstoppable. The decision that changes everything. At the end of the day, unlocking your true identity is not a mystical event. It is a decision. A decision to stop settling. A decision to stop shrinking. A decision to stop pretending. Reality concept. Transformation begins with a committed decision. Decide that you will no longer live beneath your potential. Decide that fear will no longer dictate your direction. Decide that comfort will no longer control your future. And once you decide, act daily in alignment with that decision. The final awakening. One day, if you persist, if you grow, if you confront fear and embrace responsibility, you will look back. And you will not recognize the person you used to be. Not because you lost yourself, but because you finally found yourself. You were never meant to fit in, you were meant to stand out. You were never meant to shrink, you were meant to expand. You were never meant to doubt, you were meant to build. Your true identity is not small. It is not fragile. It is not limited. It is powerful. It is resilient. It is evolving. And it is waiting for you to claim it. So rise. Rise beyond labels. Rise beyond fear. Rise beyond yesterday. Unlock your true identity. And become who you were always meant to be.